Welcome to Megabucks Radio. Conversations with successful entrepreneurs, sharing their tips and strategies for success. Real-world ideas that can put Megabucks in your bank account. Here's your host, Nina Hirschberger.
Hello there, and welcome to today's show. Today, my guest is David Linton. David is the founder of Everlast Epoxy Systems, Incorporated. It's a commercial flooring manufacturer out of Florida. He and his brother used to do epoxy floors. Several years into that business, they didn't like the fact that they had to go back every 5 years or so and re-put down the floors. At that time, David began to research and to figure it out, and he came up with a commercial formula that he's now put into the United States Post Office, United States Air Force, Sony Pictures, hotels, restaurants, you name it, he's done it. So welcome, David, to the call. I'm honored to have you here.
Hi, Nina. Thank you for having me.
So I'm doing these special broadcasts because we are right smack in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm very interested for the people to listen to your story because, quite honestly, you're doing some amazing things during this time. So just start telling me what's happening in Everlast Epoxy Systems.
We're in a state that allows us to continue to work because we supply building materials. And in Florida, they do the whole essential business thing, and I think a lot of states do the essential business thing where you can stay open if you're essential. I think one thing I would recommend to other businesses is to really study that list because there's probably a way that your business would qualify and you could stay in business. But if you can't, then there's other ways to pivot and do things virtually. But in our own particular case, a lot of businesses take the opportunity to remodel. Say a restaurant that is going to be closed, they'll take the opportunity to remodel, or like with a school. So we've been getting a lot of business doing remodeling for that. That's kind of what's been carrying us through this. We've been reaching out and sending emails to people, and we've been finding that a lot of businesses are doing remodels. So we're selling them floors so they can do that, and that way they can upgrade their facility before it's time to reopen the economy again.
But now, David, you say sell them floors, but you actually are not at this moment doing the installs, correct?
That's correct. We're selling the floor. We're not doing installation at the moment. We haven't actually done installation in about 8 years. We're actually going to get into it again on just a regional basis so that we can launch a new residential line to help our dealers. So what we're doing even right now is to help our dealers is because we have about 73 or 76 or so dealers nationwide. So we started a membership site to give them some marketing training and some marketing asset to help them because a lot of them are trying to figure out how to cope with this little pandemic that's going on right now. And so we're teaching them how to reach out and still continue to get business and stay in business. So our membership site, we just launched it about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and we're reaching out and letting them know that, hey, there's a lot of facilities that are doing remodeling, so you could, some of their residential business might have tapered off, so you could go into the commercial and still pick up work. So that's one thing we're doing to help them.
How do they get the names of the restaurants or the schools or anything? Have they had a list that they've been reaching out to, or do they have to create the list, or what are they doing that way?
Well, a lot of people call into us, and so we'll pass the lead on to one of our certified installer dealers. I'm actually doing a mailing right now to schools. I feel like schools is a good opportunity right now because, for one, they have access to government money, and for two, schools usually have a short window to remodel, which is only maybe about 2 to 2.5 months for summer break. But right now, as you know, a lot of them may not be open the rest of the season, and so they have a couple more months in addition. So they might have 4 or 5 months that they can remodel so they can actually get some serious work done. So we're doing a mailing to about 16,000 schools around the country, which we haven't dropped them in the mail yet, but even if we only get a 1 or 2% response, that's a whole ton of leads to pass along to our dealers that they could, so then when they reach out, then that could be some work that helps keep them in business for the next couple months, as well as helps the schools out because the mindset is shifting toward more sanitation right now and more hygiene. So with our floor, it's a real hygienic floor. It's easy to clean, and so it'll be a help even to the schools that do remodel, and it'll be a help to the parents and the children since they'll have a safer facility to spend the day in.
So let's talk about your floor, for instance. So what is it, and how does it work, and what does it look like, and tell me about the floor.
So it's a poured and troweled, meaning it's epoxy resin that's mixed with little tiny marble chips that are about 1/8 of an inch to provide a little bit of texture and to make the floor thicker so that it's longer lasting. So it's troweled over the floor, and then the epoxy resin kind of soaks into the concrete a little bit to grab it. And so it's like an adhesive that is a finished product all in one. And it's seamless, and so it's easy to clean. And because of the texture, it's slip resistant. So really a facility that needs something that's very easy to clean and slip resistant and still yet attractive, as most other of our competitors have industrial floors that are kind of just a plain gray or plain red or something like that, whereas ours, we have like lots of different color combinations. So it's attractive but yet healthy at the same time.
Is it a one-step process? It sounds like you pour and trowel.
It's a one-step as far as pouring and troweling. There is a seal coat that we put on top called Stay Clean Sealant that works together with the cleaning product to help lift the grease and lift things while you're cleaning it. But the floor itself is one step plus the sealer, so I guess it would be two steps. And if there's floor prep involved, then there's three steps. But it's because one thing about our floors, you can go on top of other existing floors like tile and VCT with a little bit of prep. So it does eliminate the demolition in a lot of cases. But there's always, for every floor, in order for it to last, there has to be floor prep. So I guess you could say three steps.
So, okay, let's go back to the marketing with your dealer network. So is that unusual that you're dropping to get leads? Do they normally get their own leads, or is this something that you're doing during this period of time?
We've always given them some leads, but now that since we're doing some more heavier marketing campaigns, we'll be able to give them more leads than we usually do. But also a lot of dealers bring on their own because sometimes it could be a flooring store, sometimes it could be an independent flooring installer, and they'll have their own contact. But when we give them leads, it just kind of adds to what they had already. So it's, I guess you could say, a little bit of each. Okay,
so you're going to focus on schools. That makes sense. You've done a lot of hotels. Are you going to try to do some sort of marketing to hotels right during this period of time?
What we're thinking of doing after the schools is going after other government buildings, because there's talk about a big infrastructure bill being passed. And this has happened in the past, like in 2008, 2009, it was both parties decided to pass an infrastructure bill. So I'm expecting this one to get through. I don't know what all it's going to be, but what it's going to mean is a lot of money to government facilities to use for infrastructure, which in our case would be flooring. And so after we're done, we're marketing to the schools first, just because the window of opportunity is right now. Then right after that, we're going to go to other government facilities such as prisons and things like that, because they have access to government money and they're going to want to spend it. So any business that has something they could sell to a government that would improve their facilities right now needs to be thinking about doing that, because they're about to have money to spend. So might as well spend it on us. As far as hotels, I haven't decided if we're going to reach out or not and do extra marketing to hotels right now. We may. I want to do the government facilities and the schools first, though.
Well, the smart thing, what you're doing is you're going where the money is.
Right.
You think about restaurants, they might get some of that small business loans, but, there's going to be a lot of restaurants that will probably go out of business. Whereas a government facility and a school, that's not going to happen, and they're going to be getting funds.
A lot of restaurants here in our area are staying open by doing, even though they weren't drive-through before, they're drive-through now, like Texas Roadhouse. There's one here in our town that's always been the busiest restaurant in town, but they do not have a drive-through window. It's only dine-in, but they're staying busy. Their parking lot's full because they put a big one of them kind of road signs, billboards, where like construction work type billboard. They put one out there in the road letting everybody know to come in and call them. So pretty much you drive up into the parking lot and call them and give them your order, and then tell them what your car looks like. And they just got a big staff out there wearing face masks that are bringing out food. They're offering free food to truck drivers that are helping with the grocery deliveries. So they're reaching out to the community a little bit that way. So I think, there's opportunity for restaurants because people still want to eat.
Now, here's what's the talk around our area, because there's a lot of restaurants doing the same thing. But here's the marketing thing they're missing. They're not telling what they're doing behind those closed doors. We don't know if those people are sneezing on the food. We don't know. We have no idea what they're doing. In fact, you're coming up with a possible new product that could potentially even help with some of that. Why don't you talk about that for a second? We
found a company that makes a spraying desanitizer that's actually safe for food surfaces. It's actually been on the market. They haven't done a great job marketing it, so not everybody knows about it, but it actually has been out. It's already got approvals from the EPA. It's registered, but it's like a fogger sprayer. So, of course, it'd be good for cleaning not cleaning, it's a disinfectant. So after you're done cleaning the floor, and it's good for that. But since it's a fogger, they can get the countertops and the tables and everything. And so it like covers it it's like a spray Lysol can, except for it's safe for food service. And you can fog the whole restaurant, restroom and the food service and everything. So you maybe do that like on a nightly basis, and it overnight it'll be killing the germs and the bacteria and the viruses and all that stuff. And so if a restaurant were to do that and let the public know they were doing that, then it would kind of help improve the perception for their place.
See, that's a secret. I mean, okay, you drive up and they come out, okay, they got the mask on and they got the gloves on, but again, we don't know what's happening behind those closed doors. And so that's a marketing thing, I think, that people are missing. Another thing that I think that the restaurant people are missing is none of them are taking any of our names and emails. They're not building a list. And, that's critical, particularly right now. So
because then they could email all of us with videos of what they're doing inside. Say, here's how we're keeping sanitized in here, and also with offers. Hey, we're open. Come on. You can have a home cooked meal tonight. Still, we'll just come out. We'll take it right to your car.
Or we just cooked a new batch of chocolate chip cookies. You're going to get a free cookie with everybody that orders a meal today. I mean, all of that. Social media is a big deal, of course. Because we're seeing that. We're seeing, groups are talking about who's open and all that kind of stuff. But again, building that list. Do you teach your dealer network to build their list as well?
We do. I don't know that they all are too always attentive, but this marketing site that we just launched about 2 weeks ago, we actually partnered with somebody that does CRM work and through Entreport, which is what we use. And I think every small business should have some kind of database to keep track of customers and always be adding to it. But what we're going to do is we're offering to help our dealers and with their own lists, build their own lists. We're going to make them a landing page so that they can collect names and addresses, but we're also providing them an email campaign that they can use for their customers for not just why they need a good certified installer to install an Everlast floor, but as well other types of floors that they install. And so they can, when they do get a name of a customer, that they can stay in contact with them. So that's a service we're gonna start making available. I shouldn't say we're offering it because we're not charging them for it. They work directly with our vendor on that, but we're making it available to them, and we're providing as much as we can without charge to help them market their businesses more, because like you said, more people need to be collecting names and they need to be marketing to them, and a lot of people don't really know how to do that.
And this is part of your pivoting, is providing those more value, those services and stuff. So talk about the dealers. Are you getting new dealers right now? So for instance, let's say that there's somebody who is in XYZ business, and quite honestly, it's never going to come back. But that person is still an entrepreneur, still wants to be in business. Are you trying to build your dealer network even during this whole period of time? We are.
We have a list of about maybe 2,000 or 2,200 different flooring companies that have reached to us in the past, and one way or another, we sold to some of them, but not all. So we've reached out to all of them to let them know what we're doing now, what we're offering now, and this is as of just a couple of weeks ago. It's kind of a new program. We've always given leads and such, but we haven't done much in the terms of marketing help. So this is kind of brand new to help people get through this, and then we'll continue it after. As far as entrepreneurs that aren't in the flooring business, of course, we're always looking for salespeople. For our stuff, the opportunity is installing it. So, but there's really an opportunity to pivot for any entrepreneur that has found that their business is let up. There's always other business out there to be had, and this pandemic is creating opportunities. If we would just, instead of thinking about all the, like in our case, restaurant is a big business for us, but when this happens, a lot of restaurant business goes down. So we have to think of a way to stay in business, and which is why we're reaching out to more schools and government buildings and stuff. But you always want to look to where there's going to be money still being spent, look to where the needs are being created, and find a way to fulfill them, I think.
David, I know before we got on this call, we talked a few minutes, and we talked about other businesses, and they're all looking for even an opportunity to do online. People pivot online. You kind of Well, you might not be selling floors online. You're doing your online marketing. So online is a big thing. I told the story about a school teacher who is now a tutor, and because he can tutor online. So anything they can do. I also think you've been doing commercial, but you're working towards going into the residential market, which opens another opportunity for people. So we built a house. My husband and I built a house about a year ago. And, of course, on the inside of our house, we had a particular floor put down. You may not have somebody laying carpet or putting floor down on the inside of the house. So that same flooring person might want to do a garage floor, though, in a residential. And that certainly is perfectly okay right now, if you're in a state that allows that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because we just had someone come and work on our house last week doing on a screen porch. So garage floor, there's a big opportunity. And like you said, you don't have to go inside somebody's house to do their garage floor. But there's also some states where you can go do some work inside the house if you're making it more sanitary, which in the case of our floors, you're doing that. So, I mean, every state's different, but some states you're still allowed to do that. What we're doing for that right now is, since most of all our marketing assets are important, what I mean by marketing assets is testimonial videos, pictures of jobs done and things like that. That's real important, and that's what helps our dealers sell our commercial floor. So we are now in the process of, we started a couple small regional installation companies for the purpose of building these marketing assets so that we can launch it to our dealers nationwide, pretty much give them to them. They can use the testimony videos as their own because it's the same floor, but so that we can get into the residential market. Because right now we have about 73 dealers, and they're primarily in the commercial market, but there's flooring companies all over the country. Every city has a few, and if we get into the residential and we give them a marketing campaign that works and the marketing assets such as testimonials that they need to sell, now we can help a lot more flooring companies because the residential market's huge. And of course, they'll all be able to do commercial as well if they want to, but there's just a big opportunity in residential right now, especially in terms of hygiene, because everybody's going to want something safer and cleaner. We have
and it could be a basement floor.
Yep.
It could be a garage. Now, you talked about certified dealers. So you must, if they're going to work with you, they must have to come to you to get certified. You go to them. How does that certification program work?
So the certification program works like this. They need to first go through our materials on how to install and how to properly prepare the floor, and then we give them an exam to fill out that shows that they've actually taken the time to learn. And then we have them install a floor. They have to install a floor and take pictures all along the way, showing their process. And then we want to talk to their customer and find out how the experience was. Once they get through that whole stage and have documented the whole thing, provided that to us, we talk to their customer, and their customer is happy with the customer service aspects of that, because that's also important. Then we give them a certified installer badge that they can use. Installers.
So they actually don't have to come to you to learn the process. You have some sort of online something they learn?
That's true. However, coming to us would be a good thing, and that's another reason we're starting these little regional installation companies, just a couple of them. And so that way we'll have the ability for people to start coming to us to get trained, because at the moment we don't install at all, and so there's really no way for someone to come to us and get trained. We'll pair them up with other dealers, but we've found that dealers don't like training their competitors, so we decided that's the other reason we're going to start getting into just pick like a couple small areas and installing there. That way, besides building more marketing assets, we can also now have a way of training dealers nationwide. They can come work on a project with us.
The thing that's going through my mind over and over and over, yes, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Yes, people are locked in their homes. Yes, all you do is, if you watch the news, I personally haven't watched it in 35 years, but if you watch the news, it's all doom and gloom. It's all, I'm not hearing that from you. I'm hearing, yep, there's opportunity. Yep, we had to make some changes. Yes, we had to do some marketing things. Yes, I'm going to spend money and send out postcards. Yes, I'm paying attention to where the money is. Yes, I'm going to be going into the residential market. I mean, it's like, yes, yes, yes.
We could sit around at home and watch the news and just be worried, but it is what it is. We're not going to change that, but we can think about how we can pivot so that we can stay in business or even thrive even more with it. Like as far as the PPP loan, for example, that we keep hearing about. Look, for me, the way I look at it is I kind of have to answer to myself. What did I do? Did I do what I could to stay in business and to help as many people out as I could, or did I just sit around and wait for that loan? So, of course, I apply for the loan because I don't want to feel like there was money offered and I didn't get it simply because I didn't apply. So I applied for it. I applied 4 places, but now I know I did my part to get my share of that. I shouldn't say my share. That's not the proper terminology. But the government's given away. Might as well take it. I applied. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I won't. But I don't have to feel bad because I sort of answer to myself for that. I did my part. Now I'm going to focus my time on going where the money is, selling my products, trying to show other people how to do the same. And maybe I'll get the PPP loan. Maybe I won't. Maybe it's just a hoax. I don't know. But I can sleep good at night knowing I at least tried, but I'm not going to spend every single day looking at the news and seeing how the SBA is doing and seeing and calling around and bugging the banks and, hey, what's up with the loan? I already applied. I did my thing, and now it's out of my hands. But I did apply so I can sleep good at night, but I want to spend all my time trying to take advantage of the opportunity and doing things that I know are going to make us, rather than just spend all my time looking at the news and trying to find out what's going on with that loan, because by the time I get it, if I was spend all my time continuing to apply and continuing to bother the banks and read the news and just worry about it, all that time could have been spent doing a marketing campaign, reaching out to some dealers, doing things that actually move the ball forward, you know?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And another thing, talking about reaching out, I went to your website, and this is amazing. So what you're doing during this period of time, this for 3 months, is for every 1,000 square feet of flooring put down by one of your dealers, you're giving something away. Why don't you share what you're doing?
We're partnering up with a company called Living Waters International, and what they do is they do a few things. One of them is they'll provide wells for underdeveloped countries where they're manual pump wells. Because you see, there's a lot of countries out there. So this virus is going nationwide or worldwide, and there's countries out there there's hospitals out there that don't have access to clean water. And so these guys have actually gone out there and provided wells so there could be clean water. They also provide training. They'll get communities together and teach them about hand washing skills and things like that, and for hygiene. And so what we did is we decided for every 50 square feet of floor that we sell between now and I think it's June 30, I have to double check, for every 1,000 square feet of floor that we provide, we'll donate $50. And so far, we started this campaign a little less than 3 weeks ago, and we've sold 16,700 square feet of floor. So far we've donated $835 to them, which is enough to do a water campaign for a little more than 2.3 communities. You know, and we expect to be more before it's over.
That's amazing. That is just I love it. I love everything about what you're doing. I love the attitude. I love the can-do. I love I keep saying to people, shut off the news. Just shut it off.
Yeah, no, so don't watch it this week at all, because, while the curve is at its peak and it's going to be about to go down, it's all going to be bad news. Give it a couple of weeks from now, once the curve is on its way down, then there'll start being some good news out there, and states will start talking about reopening. But for now, let's just focus on doing what we can. We already know the news isn't going to be good, so there's no point in turning it on and watching it,
Another thing that I think is real important for right now is with these business owners is to even joint venture. So for instance, well, let's say it's a flooring dealer, and maybe he joint ventures with a restaurant. So everybody who puts in a floor, they get a free meal. I mean, I'm just pulling something out of the air.
Right,
but again, get connected with other business owners who are not your competitors, but could be working with the same kind of people that you want to work with. Just like you're talking about the truckers at the restaurants getting free meals.
Right.
Doing those kind of things. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, maybe they'd be interested in becoming a dealer. Is there a way they can get a hold of you?
The email is care@everlastepoxy.com, EverlastEpoxy.com, or 800-708-9870.
It's been an honor to have you. Thank you for taking your time. I know you're busy right now. That's why I loved having you on the call. Until next time, remember, business is what you make it, particularly right now. So focus on your success.
Thank you for listening to Megabucks Radio with Nina Hirschberger. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or to listen to past episodes, visit megabucksradio.com.